What's up, everybody? I'm Stan, and welcome to Detail Comics, where we go over comics in detail. This is iRate Reviews, the show where I go over a comic book, its story, its art, give you my impressions, and let you know whether it's something you should go back to the comic book shop for or not. The book that I want to talk about right now is Batman number 39. So this continues the Superfriends arc, and this time we're not dealing with Batman and Supes, we're dealing with Batman and Wonder Woman. And ultimately, there was evidently some sort of vow that they took a long time ago, and now they're trying to fulfill that and cash in on it. And some interesting things are bound to happen. But let's check out the issue and see what went down.
Batman 39 picks up with the second half of the Super Friends arc, which really deals with the relationship between Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman. In the first half, we saw Superman and how Lois and Clark went out to dinner with Selina and Bruce, and it was a very entertaining and fun kind of ride. But in the second half, we get to see what happens between Batman and Wonder Woman, a different half, a different part, a different third of the Trinity, and really what that means to their characters and how things go from there. To open things up, we have Jim Gordon making an introduction that's relatively interesting because, first off, the bat signal shouldn't be operated by anyone but him, but when he finally arrives on the rooftop, he sees Wonder Woman calling to Batman. She has other ways of getting in communication, but this seemed like the most effective as well as probably the most intimate. Jim doesn't necessarily understand that Batman's already there, which is kind of a good bit of humor, and ultimately his ability to kind of like create rapport with Wonder Woman's a little bit, it's a little jacked. He's a little rough around the edges. But the conversation quickly deals with a promise that they made to an entity from beyond our realm, in a different realm that you're only allowed to enter one way. And, they promised at one point in time to go on and replace this gentleman. This person that's been fighting the hordes of Gehenna for 1,000 years and is looking to fight 1,000 more. And they promised that they would take his place. And when he brings this up to Catwoman, ultimately she's a little interested in what it is, but she's not necessarily too taken aback by what's going on. Of course, she does think that he looks a little ridiculous in the knight armor. And I'm going to have to point out right now, I absolutely love Joelle Jones's Catwoman. It's fantastic. The smile that she has as she says he looks ridiculous is just arresting. I just love this portrayal of Selina and all the characters in general. Joelle Jones is a fantastic find for Batman, and Tom King is lucky to have her. And then Jordi Belair is doing some phenomenal work on the actual colors as well. As we kind of go into this portal, we see that Diana obviously thinks that he looks a little bit ridiculous, but then again, so do all men that try to fight. But he does look better after some slashing, as they're taking on this vast horde of beasts. Always very interesting. Of course, this person that steps out, this gentleman who's, kind of wondering whether Catwoman's a demon or not, they don't necessarily have a lot of backstory as to this guy. They only know him in the context of the realm that they are in now. We see Diana bathing herself, trying to rid herself of this monstrous blood. Of course, Batman is still struggling, and at that point in time, there's a good bit of humor in here, which gives a little note to the relationship that Wonder Woman and Batman have. Ultimately, it's easy to see how they could have a very good rapport and a very good relationship, and then we've got a situation where we're back in modern day. Selina's talking to the gentleman, and Batman's super popular in this realm, isn't he? Batman's popular everywhere. But, if you can only hope that he's going to be a good man, how can you marry him? Very poignant questions that are really gone on with that. And the theme is really becoming clear because time is not passing in this realm the same way that it does on our Earth. It's far faster, or it's far longer. We don't really know, because the horde is everlasting, and the dimension is everlasting, and time is twisted and bent. But the big thing is that we finally get the reveal that this gentleman's from modern times, because he's going to call his wife. And then we see more of Bruce and Diana fighting. They don't know how long it's been. They have no concept of time. And Selina's starting to realize as this conversation's going on, the pace is picking up. It's quickening. And, if they've been gone for hours, how long has it been in that realm? At least 10 years. And that's where we're going to kind of close out the story. I can see how a lot of people would have very different reactions to this. They'd feel like the relationship between Bruce and Wonder Woman that's really developing in this point in time is a little bit on the, kind of like she's very simple. She's very flat. She's not providing a lot of character. It's not taking into account a lot of the things that Wonder Woman's known for. However, she's not just simply brought into this as a device. It's showing that, this is not necessarily a way for her to be a temptress or anything along those lines. This is a very realistic portrayal of what can happen when you're separated from a significant other for quite some time. It's very common in military families where situations like this happen regardless, whether it's on one side or the other. Since Tom King is a military man, he knows about these kind of things. He's been in war zones, talked to these soldiers. I find that this is what people either think is happening or what has happened in his experience, which is, it's kind of insane to see this portrayed in a very realistic, down-to-earth superhero kind of manner. What might only seem like hours to one person seems like years to another. And it has an impact on who they are and how they relate to each other. Of course, this is only the first part of this two-part episode with Wonder Woman and Batman. And in reality, we're going to see Batman become the valiant person. We're going to see Wonder Woman probably taking the upper hand. She has this honor-bound code that's, Bruce has got some honor, but, Wonder Woman is a paragon of these kind of things. However, her society that she originally grew up in was not necessarily bound by these various, things, thoughts of monogamy and that kind of stuff. And she's had multiple relationships with a bunch of different people. So it's not just Steve Trevor that she's got to be, honor bound to. There's a variety of different ways that you can really interpret Wonder Woman and Bruce's relationship. But ultimately, I'm really excited to see where this goes for the next part. As I've been mentioning, the art is fantastic. I'm in love with Joelle Jones' portrayal on Batman. Her and Jordi Belair are fantastic as a combination. The coloring's phenomenal. The character designs are great. And I can't wait to see where the second parts are really going to go with this. Overall, really big fan of Batman. Batman number 39 does nothing to stop that trend of being excited about it. But I want to know what you guys think too, so hit me up in the comments down below so we can start that conversation. As always, if you like what you see, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to get more news, reviews, and commentary on comic books, comic book movies, comic book TV shows and games, and anything and everything having to do with the world of comics.